The beam of Ranger Robert Reeves's flashlight swept across the campsite, tucked off the trail, and stopped on a pot of stew, still warm over a silent stove. But no one was there to eat it.
Something was wrong. No camper leaves a meal like that. Hello? Anyone camped here?
The trees swallowed his voice. No reply. The campsite was perfectly silent, except for the faint hiss of wind in the pines. Robert kneeled by the stove. The pot was still warm, a spoon inside. Dinner interrupted mid-bite.
Who leaves their supper like that?
The tent was immaculate. A sleeping bag unrolled, a backpack opened, but no occupant.
Zone 14 was empty on the board. No one signed in.
He marked the coordinates on his GPS, the waypoint blinking alone in the dark forest. Then he moved on, deeper into Zone 14.
Something was waiting out here, and he could feel it watching.
Half a mile deeper, the flashlight caught another shape, a second tent, pitched in a clearing off the path, identical to the first.
Another one. Same green dome, same brand of everything. This can't be a coincidence.
He knelt by the stove. Same pot, same stew, same brand of camp fuel.
Mountain House beef stew. The packaging was identical, right down to the lot number.
Robert cupped his hands and shouted into the darkening forest, his voice betraying a new edge. The silence returned, thicker than before. Not even a bird answered. He didn't need to look inside the tent. The scene was a perfect copy of the first camp.
2 camps. Both set up, both abandoned. This isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern.
He marked a second waypoint on his GPS, the blinking dots now a small constellation of dread.
And still, the feeling of being watched crawled along the back of his neck.
50 yards further, the forest opened, and there it was, a third tent, pitched on level ground, its stove as cold and untouched as the 2 he'd already found.
3 identical camps. Not a single soul. This was deliberate. Every instinct told him he was standing inside something he shouldn't see.
He pulled the radio from his belt, thumb pressing transmit before doubt could stop him.
Dispatch. This is Reeves. I've got 3 unregistered camps in Zone 14. All the same gear. All empty. What's the protocol?
Reeves, listen carefully. Leave that area now. Do not use your camera. Do not touch anything. Get out of that zone immediately.
The words came fast, almost overlapping his own.
Do you copy? No photos? Repeat? No photographs.
The dispatcher's voice cracked on the second warning, a thin sliver of genuine fear.
They know exactly what's out here, and they're petrified.
He dropped the radio back onto his belt and started walking, faster than he'd walked all day. By the time he reached the main trail, night had swallowed the forest whole. His flashlight became a thin needle of light piercing the dark.
The silence was wrong. No insects, no wind, just his own breath, and the crunch of his boots on pine needles.
Then came a soft thump somewhere behind him. Not a branch falling, but something deliberate.
He stopped, listening. That wasn't an animal. An animal wouldn't pause the moment he noticed it.
He swept the flashlight in a slow arc. For half a second, a dark shape stood between 2 trunks. Then the beam passed over it, and it was gone.
A trick of the light. Just a shadow and a tired mind. That's all it was.
He started moving again, but the thump repeated. Closer now, like a footstep matching his own rhythm.
There was no doubt anymore. Something was walking the same trail, keeping just beyond the edge of his light.
He didn't look back. He broke into a jog, flashlight beam jolting wildly across the trees as his boots pounded the dirt.
Don't stop. Whatever it is, don't stop until you are out of this forest.
Ahead, a glow seeped through the trees, the warm orange of a campfire, and a tent lit from within.
He slowed. A 4th tent, occupied. The first sign of life in this dead forest.
A man stepped out, flannel sleeves rolled, a wide smile cutting across his face. He raised a metal cup.
Evening, Ranger. You look like you could use a hot cup of coffee. Got a fresh pot right here.
Robert's eyes flicked to the tent logo, the stove. Same brand, same setup. His stomach dropped.
Number. Thank you. but I've got miles to cover before morning.
The stranger's smile didn't waver. It stretched wider, like a mask that had forgotten how to relax.
Safe travels, Ranger. The forest can be unpredictable at night.
Robert turned and walked. He didn't run, but every step felt like a countdown.
That man knew his name. He never showed a badge, and the stranger had called him Ranger.
Robert quickened his pace, fighting the urge to look back. The man's silhouette stood unmoving beside the tent, still smiling.
He called me Ranger. My uniform was covered by my jacket. There's no way he could have known.
The memory of that smile, the identical camp stove, the same brand of food packet, it all snapped into a pattern, too deliberate to be natural.
It's not a coincidence. The coffee wasn't hospitality. It was a test. And he knew exactly who I was.
He stopped, his breath coming fast, and pulled the radio from his belt.
Dispatch. Reeves again. I've got a fourth tent. Occupied. Same green dome, same stove. He offered me coffee.
Did you accept? Tell me you didn't accept it.
Number. I refused and kept walking.
Good. Do not engage. Repeat. Do not engage. Get out of that zone now.
They know exactly what happens if you take that coffee. That's why Dispatch was so terrified.
Off the main trail, he followed a thin deer path into the undergrowth. His boots snagged on a hidden mound. He stumbled and caught himself. A collapsed tent lay half buried under years of leaves. He brushed away the debris. The faded label matched the other tents perfectly. The fabric rotted, the stove rusted, but the layout was the same. A ghost of the camps he'd just found.
This has been here for decades. The pattern isn't new. It's been repeating forever.
Ignoring the no photo order, he took a picture. Evidence of the anomaly's age, he marked the spot on his GPS, adding another dot to the growing constellation.
They'll know I disobeyed, but I need something. The truth can't stay buried.
The old tent's smell of decay and time filled his lungs, a warning that this ground had been claiming victims for longer than anyone knew.
No bodies, no records, just tents. Every few years. And then the people vanish.
Robert moved back toward the trail, but the silence had turned hostile. Every snapped twig echoed like a gunshot.
Then, a footfall, clear as a bell, crunched directly behind him, no more than 30 yards.
He spun, flashlight cutting the dark in a frantic arc. The beam passed over a tall, motionless silhouette standing between two pines. He blinked, and it was gone. The space between the trunks stood empty.
Not a shadow. It was there, waiting.
He bolted. No thought, no path, just survival. Branches whipped his face as he crashed through the underbrush.
The trail. Where was the trail? He'd been on it, he was sure. But now nothing looked familiar.
His flashlight skittered across identical tree trunks, a maze of shadow. Every direction looked the same.
The footsteps behind him didn't stop. They matched his rhythm, a perfect mimic, never gaining, never falling back.
He kept running, lungs burning, the forest twisting around him like a trap snapping shut. He exploded through a wall of thorny brush, and suddenly his boots hit solid ground. The main trail. His flashlight caught the familiar trail marker, its reflective surface winking back like a signal from the civilized world.
The relief hit him in a wave, but he didn't slow. Whatever was behind him might still be there, just outside the light.
Through the pines, warm yellow windows glowed, the ranger station, a small fortress of light in the black.
His legs were lead, but the sight hit like a shot of adrenaline. He pushed harder, forcing his body forward.
The station grew larger with each stride, a solid shape of wood and safety against the pressing dark. As he closed in, he realized the footsteps had stopped. The silence was sudden, complete, more terrifying than the pursuit.
It let me go, or it's just watching, waiting for me to drop my guard.
He sprinted the final distance, boots pounding the packed earth, the porch light washing over him like a promise of safety.
Just a few more yards. Just a few more. And then I am inside.
He burst through the station door and stumbled into the quiet warmth. The night shift ranger's desk was empty, the room silent.
His chest heaved. For a moment, He just breathed, letting the solid walls replace the endless forest in his peripheral vision.
He pulled a paper form from the drawer and pressed pen to page. The first words came out, jagged, his hands still shaking from adrenaline. He wrote about the 3 empty tents, the matching brands, the old rotting one, and the fourth, with a man who smiled and offered coffee. Beside the stove, he added, "Dispatch ordered immediate evacuation, no photos."
But I took one anyway. They'll know. I don't care.
He grabbed the radio handset. The dispatcher's voice had been terrified. Now he needed the only person he trusted to hear this.
Dispatch, this is Reeves. Patch me to Supervisor Markham. Tell him it's urgent.
The dispatcher acknowledged, voice still tight. Then the station fell silent again, the report glowing under the desk lamp like a confession.
Now wait, and hope that when Markham arrives, he'll have answers, not another brush-off.
The station door opened before dawn, and Supervisor Markham stepped in, his face already set in a grim mask of bad news.
Reeves, what happened out there? Your message was thin. Talk to me.
4 camps, 3 empty, identical down to the food packet, and a 4th occupied. A man offered me coffee, called me Ranger.
Markham's face went pale under the fluorescent light. For a split second, it wasn't concern, it was terror.
Did you accept anything from him? Any drink? Any food? Anything at all?
Number. I declined and kept walking. Dispatch already made that clear.
Markham exhaled, but the fear didn't leave his eyes. He looked like a man swallowing a secret too bitter to speak.
Good. That's what matters. Now go home, Reeves. Get some rest. I'll handle the report.
Handle it with respect, sir. I need to know what we're dealing with. Those camps weren't random.
That's an order, Reeves. We'll debrief later. For now, you are off duty. Go.
At 3 a.m., Robert used his station keys to slip back inside. The office was dark, the only sound the hum of the old refrigerator. He went straight to the locked cabinet in the back, the one Markham never touched. The key turned with a soft click that felt louder than it should. His fingers brushed a thick folder labeled Zone 14, Incidents. The paper was old, brittle at the edges. Inside, typed reports with blacked-out names, and photos, identical tents, dated 1982, 1987, 1993. The same green dome, the same stove. Then a photograph of a young ranger, smiling, clipped to a sheet titled Missing Personnel. The date underneath, May 1985.
They knew. They've known for decades. And they just let it happen.
He pulled out his phone and took pictures. Every page, every face. The shutter click felt like a gunshot in the silent room. He slipped the folder back exactly as he'd found it. But now the photos burned in his pocket, proof of a lie stretching back 40 years.
Markham's face when he saw the photo. That wasn't concern. It was guilt. He knows exactly what happened to that ranger.
He locked the cabinet and slipped out into the cold night. Tomorrow he would confront Markham with the evidence. No more lies. At sunrise, Robert walked straight into the office and slapped a photograph onto Markham's desk.
You know him. His file's in the locked cabinet. What happened to him?
Markham's face drained to gray. He snatched the photo and turned it face down, but his hand trembled.
Where did you get this? That cabinet is restricted.
The same place you hide decades of missing personnel. Now tell me what happened to that ranger.
Markham didn't answer. He stood, walked to the door, and closed it with a soft click that felt like a verdict.
Drop it, Reeves. That's an order. You are off patrol permanently. Desk duty. Effective immediately.
You'd bury your own rangers to keep a secret? What are those camps doing to people?
Markham's jaw tightened. He didn't blink. You are suspended without pay if you mention this again. Dismissed.
No more lies. I'll find the truth myself, no matter what it costs.
He sat in his small cabin, the phone heavy in his hand, and dialed a number he'd found scribbled in the back of an old personnel file. A man answered after the 5th ring. His voice was thin and suspicious.
I am calling about Zone 14. My name is Robert Reeves. I am a ranger. The tents are back.
The silence on the line stretched so long he thought the call had dropped. Then the old man spoke, a quavering whisper, full of a terror that had festered for decades. "Forget you saw anything. Don't call this number again." The line clicked dead. Robert stared at the silent phone. The fear had spread far beyond his station.
He wasn't dismissed. He was warned. By someone who'd lived through whatever was hiding in those trees.
It wasn't just Markham. The terror had infected everyone who'd ever worked that ground.
No one else will say it. Then I'll force the truth out myself.
An hour later, Robert strode back into the station. Markham was at his desk, and the look on his face said he'd been waiting.
No more deflections. You tell me what's happening in Zone 14, or I take everything to the regional director.
Markham stared at him for a long moment, the lines on his face deepening.
You don't know what you are asking, Reeves. That knowledge, it stays with you?
It already is. I've seen the tents, the old files, the missing rangers. I am not stopping until I know why.
Markham rubbed his eyes, a gesture of exhaustion and surrender.
Tomorrow, my cabin, outside the park boundary. Come alone. You'll get your answers then.
He looked at Robert with something that was almost pity.
And Reeves, don't bring any coffee.
Even now, he's warning me. Whatever waits in those camps, it's worse than I imagined.
Markham unrolled a topographical map across the table. Zone 14 was circled in red, with dates scrawled in the margins. The markings went back decades. Robert leaned forward, as if the ink itself held secrets.
These camps have appeared every 3 to 5 years for over 40 years. Always the same brand of tent. Always the same stove. Never a body left behind.
He slid an old photograph across to Robert, a tent from 1948, identical in every detail.
Where are the campers? What really happened to them?
Markham didn't answer at once. He stared at the wall, the lines on his face deepening, waiting for the right words.
You've known about this since 1985. How many rangers never came back?
Markham's hand closed over the map, hiding the dates. When he spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper.
Reeves, what I need to tell you, it's not a story. It's a standing order. And it's cost lives, but not tonight. Go home, Reeves. We'll finish this at first light.
Robert drove home in a fog, the dates on Markham's map burning behind his eyes. He lay in his cabin, but sleep wouldn't come. Every time his eyes closed, the shadow took shape.
It's still there. The waiting. It followed me out of the forest.
He threw off the blanket and stumbled to the window. And there, motionless in the tree line, stood the tall figure, a darker black against the night. He backed away, heart pounding, his breath fogging the cold glass. He didn't sleep after that. The first gray light of dawn found him sitting against the wall, waiting. He grabbed his keys and drove, the empty road unraveling beneath him like a dark ribbon.
No more waiting. Whatever the truth is, I am ready.
Robert stepped into the cabin at dawn. Markham was already sitting at the table. The map spread before him like a confession.
Sit down. I am going to tell you what I should have told you the night you radioed in.
He poured a cup for himself, steaming, black, and didn't offer one to Robert.
Those camps aren't camps, Reeves. They're lures, a test. 3 empty, then one with a host. The host offers coffee. Every time. If you accept, you walk into that tent and you never walk out. In 2006, Ranger Keeler accepted. We found his pack, his radio, no trace of him.
And no one closed the area? Posted warnings? You just let rangers walk into that?
We tried. The camps just reappear. Same spots, same pattern. Closing the zone doesn't matter. They don't respect boundaries.
Robert felt the floor drop beneath him. He had been one polite gesture away from joining the missing.
The stranger's smile. It was an invitation to disappear. And I almost said yes.
Markham lifted a heavy binder from the shelf. its cracked spine shedding flakes of leather as it hit the table.
These are the ones we lost. Every ranger who went missing in Zone 14.
He turned pages filled with faces, rangers in uniform, each photo clipped to a report ending in the same typed line: accepted coffee at Phantom Camp.
Delaney, Foster, Lou, Keeler, all took the coffee. No trace, no body, just empty camps. One kept a journal. He wrote about the tall figures. This is the last entry. He wrote, "The tall figures smiled, and I wanted to stay. The tent was warm." The words stopped mid-sentence.
Robert shut his eyes. The stranger's offer replayed in his mind, the same warmth, the same pull toward that lit tent.
I smelled the coffee. Felt the urge to say yes. One sip, and I'd be another name in that binder.
Now you see, that's the standing order. Never accept hospitality from anyone in those camps.
And the camps just keep appearing. Next season, someone else might say yes. I can't stay here. Not after seeing those faces, knowing what that coffee does.
I didn't think you would. I've already filled out the request. Just needs your signature.
He slid a transfer request across the table, the form crisp and bureaucratic, as if moving a ranger were routine. Robert picked up the pen. Name, employee number, post. Each stroke felt like an admission. He paused at the signature line, the names in the binder still whispering at the edge of his mind. Then he signed a quick, decisive signature, his own name finalizing his escape. Markham took the paper without a word and filed it away. The cabin fell quiet.
1,000 miles won't erase the taste of that almost acceptance, but it's a start.
You did the right thing, Reeves. The only thing.
Then why doesn't it feel like enough?
6 months later, Robert walked a sunlit trail in a different national forest. The air was calm, the woods alive with birdsong. Then, through a gap in the trees, a tent, just the outline, but his stomach clenched.
Green Dome, off trail. My heart is already racing.
His hand went to his radio. The old protocol firing before thought. A child burst from the tent, laughing, chased by a man waving a stick. Perfectly ordinary. Robert exhaled. The fear didn't vanish. It coiled back into its den, waiting for the next false alarm.
Just a family. Just a normal camp. But my hands are still shaking.
He forced a breath and walked on, the radio heavy on his belt. He looked back once, just a glance, then again, as if the forest itself had learned to hide its ghosts.
The camps are still out there, waiting for someone who says yes.
The forest had not changed. Zone 14 still held its breath under the same cold twilight. The tent stood where it always had, a pot of stew still warm on the silent stove. The lantern on the stump burned with an amber glow that never seemed to fade. Fog rolled through the pines, thick and slow, like the forest's own breath. And between two trunks, motionless, the tall figure waited. Its outline never shifted. It simply stood, a patient shadow against the darker trees. A crackle split the silence. A radio left on a stump. Dispatch. This is Carlson. I've found a camp off trail. Looks like no one signed in. The lantern flickered once, then steadied. The forest breathed out, and the tall figure, still as stone, watched the trail where the new ranger would soon appear.